Other interesting political news, you have a new Los Angeles District Attorney, Nate Hochman, ending George Soros' previous DA ban on the death penalty. Now, this comes with thanks to End Wokeness. He says, quote, breaking Los Angeles' new district attorney, Nate Hochman, ends death penalty ban set by previous George Soros DA. And this should be going more viral than it did. It only got 156,000 views, which to me it deserves more. This is also credited to ABC7, apparently. And of course, like all gentlemen, he did suit up, which all men should. They always look best.
If we were to have a Sandy Hook type of situation and over 20 school kids got murdered by a vicious murderer, or we had a Las Vegas situation and over 50 people were to be gunned down by a sniper, in those situations, the death penalty would be back on the table for consideration.
Hochman says prosecutors may call for the death penalty in special circumstance murder cases and says it will only be pursued after an extensive and comprehensive review. Under the prior DA, George Gascon, seeking the death penalty was off the table. Keep in mind the last execution in the state of California was back in 2006, and since 2019, Governor Newsom has had a moratorium on executions. Newsom saying it's immoral and costly to taxpayers.
If we were to
have the word moral and Gavin Newsom in the same sentence is a joke. Personally, I don't think we use the death penalty enough in the United States. I think people who abuse children and women, again, you have to have the proof that they did it. But if you have the proof and they actually did it, our society would be infinitely better off without people who hurt children and women in the worst possible way, as well as hurt men in the worst possible way. Again, trying to keep this moderately family friendly, but yeah, to me, we should be using it more. I know it's not a popular opinion, but it's my 3 cents. It used to be 2 cents, but 40-year hyperinflation, gotta be 3 cents. In fact, let's make one of those cents a wheat penny, which, if you collect coins, kind of entry gateway drug into collecting coins, that Morgan silver dollars. But I partially digress. Now, this got about 156,000 views and 3.5 thousand likes. One of the first comments coming from the top responses is Gunther Eagleman, who says, quote, this is the progress needed to deter sick individuals from committing acts of violence. Common sense, gained 309 likes. Yes, I agree. Also think schools should be properly, defended, just as we defend banks, sports ball stadiums, and other financial institutions, as well as, shoot your home. Again, I'm a big fan. If the teachers are qualified, they should not lose their rights because they go to a school. If anything, they should be emboldened. I'm talking about instances where schools are considered gun-free zones, and which, if a teacher does have their concealed carry permit, they actually they're not allowed to conceal carry in that area. Which I think is abhorrent and morally vacuous, as well as stupid, because it gives bad guys a big sign. Hey, these people are weak and cannot defend themselves. So obviously they go there. So yeah, I'm a big fan of concealed carry. And shoot, if I'm being more not concise, if I'm being more straightforward, constitutional carry, I'm a big fan of that as well. Though again, for legality, I still suggest taking the course and the certification just because it lets you know the legal ramifications, yada, yada, yada. Now, you also have anti-woke memes. They did, in fact, respond in meme form. And it's an article from CNN saying San Francisco Police Department will stop releasing most mugshots to combat racial bias. And then it's Andy from the office saying, what a strange thing to say, getting 41 likes. American Papa Bear says, quote, the process needs to be expedited, getting 28 likes, which that's another issue. It takes I think the average death penalty process, because again, in many states are 10 plus rounds of appeals. It could take between 10 and 20 years. That is way too long. Now, again, the people who are opposed to the death penalty will say, well, you don't want to get it wrong. You don't have time for appeals. I understand that argument. I'm saying there are instances where you have concrete video evidence and it's well beyond a reasonable doubt. In those cases, you should be able to expedite the whole process. And as crazy as it sounds, even in those cases, it still takes 10 to 20 years. It's ridiculous. Paul Zupa says, quote, Soros DAs are on the national security risk, getting 47 likes. Sarah Smith says, let's start with the illegals who harmed children. I agree. I got 203 likes. Wow. Anti-left memes did in fact respond in meme form. He has a Kermit the Frog drinking milk, and it says, quote, instead of electric cars, we should bring back the electric chair. They got 17 likes. Scrolling down more and more. A lot of people calling for the death penalty for people who abuse children, which, yeah, I think they should be definitely applied to them. Western Decline says, quote, when you're tough on crime, less people commit crimes. If California is California finally gaining some form of common sense, getting 17 likes? Well, maybe. I mean, California has declined so much culturally past 20 plus years, as well as, crime and everything like that. Maybe they're finally waking up. Maybe. Let's see here. Not too many contrarian statements here. The conservative alternative says, quote, if Californians don't find a way to de-incentivize crime, the state is literally going to collapse. This sounds like a step in the right direction, if nothing else, King 7 Light Switch. The state has been in collapse for 10 plus years. I still defy someone to tell me more than 2 businesses have moved to California in the past decade. Hundreds have left and millions of people have left. There's a reason businesses are fleeing. Overregulation, lots of crime. It's not a great place to work or live, for that matter. Sure, it's got great weather, but you have to, work, make sure you don't step in the crap in San Francisco. Not even speaking metaphorically, that's a real physical problem there as well. So again, I think this is great news. I do also believe it also deter crime as well. But let me know your thoughts and comments, because as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.